didn't start the game and extended his goalless drought to 21 appearances. It's been a rough go for Christian Pulisic, and we know, of course, for Santiago Jimenez. And that list for Mexico is still very much up in the air. But let's start with Christian Pulisic. Is he still a Milan cornerstone? Herc, I'll start with you.
If Pochettino gets there, is that the question?
If anybody
with or without Pochettino? Because we know he's been through a lot of coaches.
If I could be honest, if I look at this Milan squad and I'm thinking about assets, there are very few assets on this team, and he's one of them. He could have gone cold in 2026, but I think there's still hope he can be the player he was the first 2.5 years for Milan, where he was one of the most productive players in Serie A. Still of a good age. He's 27 years of age. Maybe he has a good World Cup that increases his value, and maybe they are smart enough to do something with an asset where I think they may have learned from with Rafa Leão. There was an opportunity to sell Rafa Leão as a $100 million asset. Maybe there's an opportunity to either build around a player you think could be something or to sell this player. Either way, if they see you with the market, you can be a cornerstone for Milan's future, but it doesn't mean they're going to use you. Being a cornerstone, oftentimes people think you're going to be involved there. No, you could be the first domino that rolls in a way that makes Milan better. And maybe Christian wins out for it too. He's one of the few assets they have. I don't know how to answer that. Is he a cornerstone? Because I think this team needs a lot of work.
Needs to be a cornerstone on the pitch. I think this World Cup is going to be important for him. You've mentioned all the changes that are happening as we speak in Milan. We have zero idea who's going to be the manager, the sporting director, and everybody else. We know that role of Zlatan is different, which is important. Let's not forget, Milan, American-owned. Zlatan, obviously, Jovan Kirovski still there, I think. So many changes that I don't even know. So I think from that standpoint, I don't know, marketing standpoint, I mean, he may be a cornerstone, but if he doesn't have a good World Cup, a new manager comes in, I don't see how they look at him and say, you know, on the base of 2026, and let's say, I hope not, a poor World Cup, then he's fighting for his life. Now, he may also be looking at elsewhere, right? Maybe Champions League is important for him. We know that Milan is not going to be there as well. But right now, I think that Milan and World Cup, his form, go hand in hand. For the next manager that's going to be watching this, I'm assuming that soon enough we're going to maybe find out who the manager is for Milan. I think he's going to be watching him closely. If it was just a blip for Milan, or does it continue here? Remember, for a team, United States, where he normally delivers, even when his form dips, I'm talking in the past, for the most part, he's always been very good with the national team.
I think it's hard to deny that his form has been extremely poor. His form has not given you anything to warrant building a team around a Christian Pulisic, certainly not at this moment. I think the challenge comes in that I'm not sure how many players in Milan's squad you can look at right now and say, this is where we plant our stake, this is who we build around. So now the other side to this is, well, maybe what's needed is a total shredding of everything that's going on and a complete rebuild. So now you're looking at who are your most sellable assets. Rafael Leão, Christian Pulisic, Mike Maignan come to mind as players who could generate significant revenues in terms of selling. So maybe the plan is to sell 3 or 4, generate 300 or 400 million euros, and just a total rebuild. So maybe that's where Christian Pulisic or AC Milan realizes the greatest value in Christian Pulisic. But again, nobody has had that great a season. If you look back a season or two for hints as to who that player may be, Christian Pulisic ticks those boxes of a season or two ago. That for me is where AC Milan have to kind of decide the direction that they're going in.
Yeah, they missed Champions League last season, even when Christian Pulisic was probably at his best for AC Milan and has been the most consistent, as we know. Pretty much since his arrival to the Italian team, we know that he has dealt with a lot of coaching changes, but his national team coach said the following about how he's not really worried about this goalless drought here for Christian Pulisic. He said, for me, Pulisic is a special player. I mean, it's a pleasure that we are going to try these 3 weeks to recover his confidence, and we really trust in him, and we have the confidence he's going to perform. Of course, okay, he didn't score in the last, 6 months. he's going to score in the World Cup. Yes, I really trust on that. And it's an interesting response here from Pochettino, but I would be surprised if it was a different response here, Herc, with you know what it is, how important the confidence is, and the goal and how it's connected to players.
And it's
like
good
yourself.
when the manager publicly backs it.
Yes.
You got to feel good about that if you're Christian Pulisic. But the reality is, and Giannis said it, he's got to put it to play on the field. He's got to have a good World Cup. And for the longest time, Christian Pulisic has used the U.S. men's national team as a refresher. Go back to his Chelsea days. Whether it was injury, run of form, he just wasn't playing, whatever the case may be, he would come back to the national team and he would perform. And that would give him enough confidence to take it back to his club and try to revert things. History has a way of showing us things. I look at Christian Pulisic and I see a lot of Landon Donovan. Landon Donovan was flying high with an amazing 2002 World Cup as a teenager. 2006 in Germany, the U.S. men's national team was rated a top 10 FIFA team in the rankings, and a lot was expected of Landon Donovan. He would tell you that World Cup didn't go to plan. Sometimes World Cups don't go to plan. Christian Pulisic can't have that to happen to him in the United States on home soil in a home World Cup. I firmly believe that if this U.S. men's national team has a disastrous World Cup at home, it's going to take the sport back decades. They are in a pivotal moment where it could be rocket fuel, like 1994 was for the game. Today's game is viewed more than ever before. These players have an opportunity to be household names, the way that 94 group did. Till today, they know players in the 1994 team. They are cultural. They're part of the pop culture of the United States. There's some real star power on this team. A Weston McKennie in front of a microphone is gold. If he could put that into play in a home World Cup, he could become a household name. A household name to tens of millions of Americans that are only going to tune in because it's every 4 years.
Yeah.
It's a big sporting event. But the U.S. men's national team needs to do something special. So Christian Pulisic and this team can ill afford to have a misstep.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to wake up at odd hours of the day or night to be able to watch all of these games. But when it comes to Christian Pulisic and his numbers with the U.S. men's national team in all competitions, Shaq, you see what he's done in 2022 and 2023 versus what we've seen from him as of late. That shot conversion, too, goes down shockingly, too. With his goals and assists, only 8 goal contributions in 2024 and 2025. His last goal was November 19th in 2024 versus Jamaica. What's your reaction when you see these numbers of Pulisic and the national team?
Quite simply concerning. And my I don't want to say issue or the challenge ever for Christian Pulisic is he has become the face of this team. We sit here and I stand by everything we say. We talk about the qualities and the leadership of a Tyler Adams, of a Weston McKennie, of a Chris Richards. So many players we look at as natural leaders in this team. Can they take that burden away from Christian Pulisic? That burden of being a leader in terms of all the US has to offer going forward. And he can just focus on his form, what he's doing for this US men's national team. Because dating back to when he was a teenager, I felt he was the example. He was the leader. He was the face of this program. Given his form of late, I would love to see him shed or be able to shed that and just focus on being that player wherever it is Pochettino decides to play him, and the other leaders that we've mentioned carry that weight for him. That's the only way you get the best out of Christian Pulisic. But as looking in from the outside, I'm not sure that they can.
Well, there's a bonus in that, in what you say, because I think Christian can contribute in many different ways with this national team, right? Of course, he's a forward, you expect goals from him, right? But now he comes to an environment that he enjoys. As I've mentioned, he's always played very well for the United States overall. So he's coming into the team where you have 3 strikers that are in form. So the burden is not just on Christian Pulisic. You had Haji Wright, Coventry, Premier League right now, scoring goals left and right. Balogun for Monaco, scoring goals left and right. Ricardo Pepi scoring goals left and right. So that little bit of pressure is off, right? But he can contribute in many other ways. I mean, I even remember in Qatar, right? I mean, the assist in the first game against Wales, beautiful to Timothy Weah, right? The goal against Iran. So he's the sort of player that even if he's not scoring, he's created enough to do a lot. Now, we can always say if he doesn't score goals, he hasn't scored now in 2026, even longer, right? I mean, and all of that. But I think he can contribute that. And also, I think he'll take that on, seeing the three strikers, being in the right environment, good atmosphere where he feels comfortable, where everybody believes in him, because I think Max Allegri lost faith in him, obviously, right? And this was on a team where Leao was injured, didn't play well, right? Santi Jimenez, I know we'll get to him as well, non-existent whatsoever. And Nkunku, sort of, right? Where he should have scored because he would have plenty of opportunities. It's not like he was, fourth in line on that team. So I think that I look for Christian to take that on, knowing you have three strikers that can do it, and he'll contribute, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think an important thing here to factor in is this isn't Milan, and that's a good thing. Milan was a mess. Milan was a mess. He was playing as a double nine. He was a second striker there, out of his depth. Nobody had a good year. Maybe Rabiot, Luka Modric till he got injured, and that's about it. They're grasping at straws. And they were so bad they didn't make Champions League in a league that they were in the fight midway through, that you thought it would have been a different story. So that's a positive for Christian Pulisic, that this isn't Milan and this is your team. Yeah, absolutely, where he probably feels more in control. Milan, he also has found consistency when the team is really down, but it definitely didn't work out that way for